Okay, so do any of you currently video record your lectures? Anyone? Okay, cool. Then I'm in the right place, I guess, or at least then you're in the right place. So I'm going to be sharing with you what are the benefits of video recording your lectures with a tablet specifically, and I'll show you. I'm also going to be showing you some of the technical aspects of how you can do that. So if you do have a tablet, this could be helpful to you. Okay, and I'm Dylan Cromit, as she said. I'm from the marketing department. I teach marketing to first year students, ECP students, and I teach digital marketing to second year marketing students. So great. This is just a short presentation, and then we'll get into the nuts and bolts of how to do it. Okay. So I was inspired by this guy. His name is Salman Khan, and this is a TED talk that he did. Let's use video to reinvent education, which I watched, and when I watched it, I was just inspired to start video recording my lectures. So if you have a chance at any point, he started something called the Khan Academy. Maybe you've heard of it before, but this TED talk is really inspirational. So why did I start to video record my lectures? Well, it solves some major problems. Number one, in the beginning of the year, most students are stuck in registration, probably for the better part of the term. So at least in the business faculty. So therefore, this is what your classes look like, right? They're empty, and you're starting with very important stuff. But sometimes your head of department will say, "Okay, don't start with too important stuff yet, so that we can, make sure that the students are all there." But even then, when you've waited long enough, still the students are still traveling from some distant land, or stuck in registration, or stuck in NSFAS, or whatever. The other problem was that even though I covered most things in class, I would always have students coming to me afterwards saying, "I don't understand," or "I wasn't there," or "I have questions about X, Y, and Z," and usually it's because they weren't in class. So then I would have to repeat myself over and over and over again. The other thing is that I realized that many of our students today are actually auditory learners. So they come from oral traditions where they've learned, they learn best through language, through listening. I personally am I learn best through reading, but my learners are not the same. And then lastly, because I teach ECP, we need a lot of extra resources to help support students. And so video recording my lectures just seemed like the perfect fit. So I went through the different options. What are the ways that you can record, because no one at that point in my department was doing it. Oh, well, actually, no, someone was, but he had this very specific way of doing it. So I looked at all the different options. And the first natural option is to use your laptop to do a screencast. But the problem with that I found was that you have to then pretty much stay behind your laptop so that it can pick up your voice most of the time. You can't. If you move, sure, the students, you just can't move too far. Otherwise, they won't be able to hear you. So that was the one limitation. The other limitation is that, you get different recording software. I had problems with Cam Studio, which is a free version. It didn't always record properly, and then I would have to do it over. And then there's another piece of software called Camtasia, but it's paid for and it's very expensive. Now, you can probably get your department to buy it, but it's like 3,000 Rand for an individual license. And then also, how would I record my whiteboard notes, which are very important actually, because while I'm talking, I'm writing something. And the students, if they look at the video afterwards, they'll hear me talking, but they won't be able to see what I'm writing. Okay, so how do I bridge that gap? So the second option is to use a video camera which you put up as a stand at the back of the classroom. Yeah. Now the one challenge with that though is that you need someone to either maneuver it for you if you want to capture different aspects of your lecture. If you don't have someone to do it for you, you have two options. The first one is like this. I've done it before. You kind of set it up so that it captures your slides as well as your notes on the board, but you can see it's a bit vague. You can't see either very well. And the other option is to just focus, for example, on your PowerPoint slides only. and my one colleague does that. Or your whiteboard notes. It's up to you. Then I thought, hold on, maybe a tablet could help me, right? So I thought, well, let me get a tablet. At that point, it was 2013. I thought it was a good excuse to get a tablet because I really wanted one. So I thought, no, I'm going to use it for my lectures. So it's a great investment. Okay, and I noticed that. Well, the first thing that's really nice about a tablet is that you have a stylus. So you can draw on it. And the tablet that I chose to get is this one. It's currently in a cover. I can take it out a bit later, but it's called the Galaxy Note 10.1. And the other nice thing about a tablet, and this is probably one of the key things, is that you can walk around with it while it's recording, like this. This is what's on my screen, as you can see, and that's what's over there. And you can walk anywhere around the class, and you can also at the same time, I'll demonstrate, if I can get it out of here. There we go. You can also, as you can see, I'll show you quickly. Okay, you can do. I'm not writing very nicely, but you can do your whiteboard notes that you would normally do on the whiteboard. You can just do here. So you can walk around the whole class with it, and it's always going to be picking up your voice because you're right by it all the time. So it makes it a bit more versatile than having to stick behind your laptop. Okay. Right, and it screencasts. It's picking up the screen, what's on the screen, as well as my voice at the same time. So that's kind of what it looks like afterwards. That's an example from one of my slideshows that I use to teach marketing, introduction to marketing, actually. That's what the student will see. Okay, so I decided on the Galaxy Note, as I explained. And the reason I chose an Android device is because I have a Windows laptop, so it made sense that they would be compatible with one another. Also, the reason I chose this one is because I looked online, and this one had a lot of educational functional tools. For example, it's got this thing called Formula Match. So if you're doing maths or science or something like that, all you do is you draw the formula and immediately it picks it up. And there's a great little video online actually which explains the benefits of the Galaxy Note 10.1, especially from an educational perspective. Okay, so this is what you need kind of to get this all going. Some of the hardware and the software. From a hardware perspective, okay, you need a tablet with a stylus. This stylus comes built in to the tablet. You also need this thing. Well, this is an example of one. It's called an all-share cast dongle, Samsung all-share dongle. And what this does, this is it over here. What this does is it connects the projector to the tablet wirelessly. So this sends out a wireless signal. The tablet picks it up, and then it can mirror what's happening on the tablet.
Only to that tablet, or to?
No. You can use it for other tablets as well. I've done a bit of research. I'm not so sure about an Apple device, but you do get something called Apple TV, which does the same thing basically. And you get another Google device as well. So you'll have to just, depending on what device you have, you'll have to kind of research what will work or test it maybe. And then you also need a projector. To work this thing, you need a projector with an HDMI port at the back. And older projectors don't have them. Only the newer projectors do. In fact, in our department, this is the only projector with an HDMI port, so I keep it very close to me. Okay, but the newer ones do have them. Software-wise, you need some mirroring software that's working on your tablet that can mirror what's happening. You also need a good presentation software. Some of the presentation software, for example, the free ones, they just put up everything that's on your slide at once. They don't give you the option to do it, to use the animation. So I bought this one. It wasn't very expensive, like 50 Rand or something. And this allows the animation to come up nicely. And then you need something that's going to record your screen. As some software that's going to record your screen. Now, back when I got this set up in 2013, I don't know if it's changed. For an Android device, screen recording software didn't work unless your device was what they call rooted, meaning that you have access to the back-end files. And there's software that you can get to root the device. I think for Apple devices, they call it jailbreaking the device. So I think it has changed. I think for Apple, there's free software called Explain Everything. Explain Everything, if you have an Apple device, that you can look for. And I don't think you need to jailbreak the device for that, but you can test it. And as I say, I haven't checked again for Android devices. And then lastly, you need editing software on your laptop. So once you've got your video, you can just copy and paste it and load it up just like that. But I've chosen to edit it, so go through it, take out certain things, put in other things that I want to put in, and make a good video. It's up to you. So that's what I use. Those are the hardware and software that I use. Okay, so what are the benefits for recording your lecture? Well, number one, students are very visually stimulated these days with Facebook and Twitter and computers and etc. So giving them teaching material that's in a visual format really relates to them and it works well with them. The second, and probably one of the important things and beneficial things, is that they can pause it. They can basically pause you when they want you to pause and continue to play you when they want you to play, which they can't do in a class situation. You just carry on. And they're like, okay, I didn't really get that. What did they say? Now they can go back and they can play it to themselves over and over and over again. And that's really helpful to them. And then the third thing is that a lot of times, just like in registration these days, students often come late for class, or they don't pitch up to class because there's problems with public transport, and so they miss out a lot of what we're doing. And we don't have time really to go back and do it again. And so this is a great opportunity, a great way to basically not waste time and give students things that they would have missed out on anyways. And then a big one is that they can revise. It's a great resource for them to revise. You don't have to necessarily do major revision because they can just go and watch all the videos whenever they want. So that also saves you time. Also, what I used to do is combine the videos with little Blackboard tests. So from the publisher that publishes our textbook, we've got these little multiple choice tests. I put them on Blackboard, and then they were linked to the video. So the students had to watch a video and then complete the little Blackboard tests. So that makes sure, in a way, or it encourages them to be attentive to what's going on in the video. And then lastly, another opportunity that it creates is that you can flip your classroom. So for example, in 2013 I recorded every single one of my lectures for every single one of the chapters and modules. So now I've got it all recorded, my entire course. So now if I want to, I can tell students, okay, I want you to go watch that video on that module before you come to class so that we can do a cool exercise. So it allows you to flip the classroom in an easier way. Because sometimes you tell the students, go read this chapter and then come to class, right? They're going to struggle. Some of them struggle with that. But if you tell them to go watch a video and do the little exercise so I can make sure that you did watch the video and then come to class, it's another way to flip the classroom. Okay, these are some of the things that students were saying because I asked them, and these are just 2 comments. In the class you get distracted by a lot of things, but when you're watching the lectures at home, you're in a comfortable environment with no distractions. And another one, you can easily watch the whole video, but it's not so easy to read through a whole chapter in the textbook because after the first 10 minutes of reading, you lose interest. Okay, so that's what some of my students said. And that's the presentation about how you do that. Okay, so I've actually recorded this.
Just a quick one.
Sure.
Then do you put these videos once they are recorded?
On Blackboard,
on
yeah.
Blackboard. So meaning they don't have to